The distress beacon cut through the static of deep space like a knife through silk. Captain Marcus Chen had been hauling cargo for 3 months straight, his battered freighter Persistence limping between rim worlds with nothing but synthetic coffee and stubbornness keeping him awake. The beacon shouldn't have registered on his outdated comm array at all. "Please, human! The enemies are coming for my mother! You're my only hope!" The voice was young, desperate, and speaking in broken standard. Marcus frowned at his console. The signal originated from the Kepler Nebula's edge, a region notorious for pirate activity and worse. Any sane captain would report it to the nearest patrol and move on. Marcus had never been accused of being particularly sane. 2 hours later, the Persistence dropped out of hyperspace near a small, rocky moon. His sensors immediately picked up the source. A damaged scout ship, barely 30 meters long, drifting powerless in the moon's shadow. Its design was unfamiliar, organic curves and crystalline growths that suggested non-human origin. "This is Captain Chen of the merchant vessel Persistence," he broadcast. "I received your distress call. Do you require assistance?" The response came immediately, filled with static and what sounded like sobbing. "Human! Oh, thank the eternal streams! Yes, yes, we need help! They took her! They took my mother to the deep ships!" "Slow down," Marcus said, already moving toward his ship's modest armory. "Who took your mother? And who are you?" "I am Zixka of the Flowing People. The Skarathi raiders. They attack our convoy. I hide when they board, but they take mother and others to their slave ships. I follow in scout pod, but my ship is dying. Please, human, I hear stories of your people's fierceness in battle. Help me save her." Marcus paused, one hand on his pulse rifle. The Flowing People. He'd heard of them. Peaceful traders. Something. Like living coral that had achieved spaceflight. And the Skarathi. Marcus's jaw tightened. He'd encountered their kind before. Slavers, pirates, and worse. "Zixka, I'm just one human with a cargo hauler. What makes you think I can take on a Skarathi raiding fleet?" The alien's response surprised him with its conviction. "Because you are human. The stories say your people do not abandon others in need. They say you fight impossible odds when your hearts are moved to righteousness. Is this not true?" Marcus looked out at the stars, then at his reflection in the viewport, a weathered face marked by years of hard living and harder choices. He thought about his comfortable cargo route, his modest savings, his plans for early retirement. Then he thought about someone's mother in Skarathi chains. "Send me their last known coordinates," he said. The Skarathi fleet consisted of 3 ships, 2 escorts, and a massive prison barge bristling with weapons. Marcus studied them from extreme sensor range, his mind racing. The Persistence wasn't built for combat, but she was tough and had a few tricks. "Zixka," he said to the young alien he'd brought aboard, "I need you to help me understand something. Your people, can you survive in hard vacuum for short periods?" The coral-like being's colors shifted to what Marcus had learned, indicated confusion. "Yes, for perhaps 10 minutes. "But why?" "Because we're going to do something incredibly stupid," Marcus interrupted, powering up his ship's mining charges, explosives meant for asteroid braking. "And when humans do stupid things, we usually do them very, very well." The plan was insane. The Persistence would approach the prison barge under the pretense of being a salvage vessel drawn by the battle's debris. When the Skarathi demanded inspection, Marcus would detonate the mining charges he'd strapped to his cargo bay, creating a massive electromagnetic pulse and debris field. In the confusion, he'd ram the prison barge's docking bay, while Zixka used the ship's emergency airlocks to evacuate prisoners. It should have failed spectacularly. Instead, Marcus discovered something about himself and his species that day. When pushed to the edge, when fighting for something beyond personal gain, humans became something more than the sum of their parts. They became legends. The Persistence screamed through the debris field like an avenging angel. Marcus's hands moved across the controls with desperate precision, dodging plasma fire and interceptor missiles. The ship's hull rang like a bell under impacts, but she held together through sheer stubbornness and superior human engineering. The ram was perfect. The Persistence smashed through the prison barge's docking bay like a battering ram, sealing the breach with her own hull. Marcus and Zixkov fought through corridors filled with confused pirates, the human's pulse rifle blazing while the young alien guided freed prisoners toward safety. They found Zixkov's mother in the deepest hold, weak but alive among dozens of other captives. As the rescued beings fled aboard the Persistence, Marcus held off waves of Skarathi boarding parties with the grim determination that had made humanity's name whispered in fear across the galaxy's darker corners. When the Persistence finally limped away from the burning wreckage of the Skarathi fleet, their escorts having fled when their flagship exploded, Marcus slumped in his captain's chair, bleeding from a dozen wounds but wearing a satisfied smile. Zixkov's mother, a magnificent being whose coral formations glowed with bioluminescent gratitude, approached him slowly. "Human Marcus Chen," she said in careful standard. "My daughter spoke truly. Your people do not abandon others in need. We will remember this. The flowing people will sing of the human who fought impossible odds when his heart was moved to righteousness." Marcus looked around at the rescued beings crowding his cargo hold, then at Zixkov's proud, grateful expression. His ship was damaged, his cargo lost, and his retirement fund had just been spent on ammunition and medical supplies. He had never felt richer. "Just doing what humans do," he said simply. "We look after each other, all of us." As the Persistence jumped to hyperspace carrying her precious cargo of freed souls, Marcus Chen added another chapter to humanity's growing legend among the stars. Not because humans were the strongest or the smartest or the most advanced species in the galaxy, but because when someone's mother needed saving, a human had answered the call.